Welcome to the Boston Barrister, Kevin Patrick Seaver, bringing you insights about your family and the world.
Welcome to the Boston Barrister. My name is Kevin Patrick Seaver, and of course, I'm located in Boston, Massachusetts. This week's episode is going to be about all those questions that I get answered and asked all the time about divorce. And the first question that you must ask yourself as a person looking to get divorced, do I want to be divorced? And that's something that's personal in nature to everyone. There's no right or wrong answer because it's personal. No lawyer can tell you, I'd get divorced. It's not my life. It's your life. So you're going to take the bull by the horns. So recently I had a gentleman call me, very wealthy, very unhappy, because his wife had an affair, okay? So the affair is just a symptom of the relationship. So we talked, and that's when I realized he did not want to get divorced. And so we had a real heart-to-heart. And I asked him, I said, when was the last time you were on a date with your wife? And he looked at me and looked around the room, up and down and inside and out. He says, date? He says, what's that? And I looked at him and I said, exactly. And that's why you're getting divorced. You are not minding the store. And if you don't mind the store, your wife's going to go, which she did, shopping elsewhere, where she will get what she needs. Now, I readily admit that an affair is a very tricky topic for everyone and anyone to navigate. There's no right or wrong answers what you do with it, what you don't do with it. Now, I've been told about affairs many times by clients in my office. And each and every situation, because each and every person is separate, distinct, and apart, like a snowflake or a fingerprint. And so one size does not fit all. Never has, never will. So I always tell clients before they go on this journey called divorce, to go find their place in the sun. And there's a band out there called Pablo Cruz. They started in 1973. In 1977, they sang a song, and I love the song, Find Your Place in the Sun. And that may be something really simple. For me, I like to go to Good Harbor Beach in Gloucester, Massachusetts, or Cranes Beach in Ipswich, or perhaps the National Seashore down the Cape, or Nantasket Beach. I have various places, but my go-to place, my place in the sun, is to walk on the beach, clear my head completely, enjoy the sun, enjoy the smell of the ocean and the sound of the ocean, the seagulls, and just clear my head completely of all thoughts, get into a good headspace, and think some more. And this is what I recommend to everyone before they go and sign on the dotted line to entering into this thing called divorce. Too many people run into it too fast, too soon, too quick. It's kind of like going to the beach. When the water's cold, you go in a little bit, and a little bit, and a little bit. Now, I don't do that. I run in, I dive right in. But that's me. But everybody's different. And so with divorce, think through it. Circle the wagon. Talk to those that love you. Your parents, if they're still alive. Grandparents, if they're still alive, luckily. To your siblings, if you're close to them. Your best buddies, your girlfriends, your boyfriend, whoever it is that's in your inner circle. They love you. Talk to them. Talk it out. I always suggest go see a therapist. Talk to a really good therapist. It's worth the price of admission. They have great ideas. You can bounce ideas off of them, and you can reach the conclusion that you need to do. You also may want to consider, before throwing in the towel, marital counseling. Now, this is a tricky, sticky wicket, because when you go to marital counseling, you're going to hear all your dirty laundry. And sometimes it re-triggers all the things of why you want to get divorced, but it also has the other effect, helping to see clearly why you should stay with this person. Now, divorce is a tough subject. It's a tough avenue. It's a tough way to go. Some have said it's more difficult than death. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but everybody's entitled to their feelings, and some people feel that way. So when it comes to divorce, you're going to have a split division here. Who's going to get the home? Who's going to get the kids? Who's going to visit when? Who's going to pay alimony or child support? How are you going to divide everything up? How are you going to work it out if the other side's working and you're working? Then you perhaps only have the weekends to be with the kids, and that's tough sledding. When you separate, now you got two households, because more than likely, although it's more common today, I'm not surprised how many couples live together before, during, and after they get divorced because they can't afford to move out, have a second home. So you got to think through all the logistics, and it's not easy, and it's not going to be something that's going to be solved in one day or 1 week. You need to really sit down with pen and paper and write down your goals. What do you want to accomplish? What is the end result? And I've heard some crazy answers. of why somebody wants to get divorced. A woman said to me that my husband chewed too loud. And I said, huh? He chewed too loud. Explain that to me. And she said, Attorney Seaver, it's simple. Everything he did annoyed me. I mean, everything? She said, everything. Now, I guess you know where that relationship was going. So what do you say to someone that says he chews too loud and everything my spouse does annoys me? I don't know if therapy would work, but I suggested that and get into therapy. I also suggested maybe you might want to try marital counseling, and get her to think and try to be rational and reasonable, and then look down the road. Can you settle this divorce where it's amicable? You started off friends or not ended as friends, and they had children. You got to decide various things such as child support, child custody, who's going to get what type of parenting plan, who's going to visit when. How do you split up the home? Who's going to stay in the home, if anyone? Are you going to sell the home? Who's going to get the dogs? Who's going to get the various debts and assets that you have? You've got your car, they got their car. How do you want to do that? Who's got a mortgage on their car or the home? So there's a lot of things logistically to think through. Alimony. Is there an opportunity, and should there be alimony? Is this a long-term or a short-term marriage? So there's questions, and more questions. And again, one size never ever will fit. You got to look at this in your unique circumstances, especially when it comes to children. They're your most important asset. They're not using them like a political football. Play keep away. Not good. Not good for the kids. And if you harm or hurt your spouse, you're hurting the kids because you want to help this other spouse because it helps the kids. It's that simple. But it's amazing to me the political and the head games that are played, and he didn't pay me child support, therefore he's not getting a visit. No. Don't play that. Try to help. In a recent situation, the mom didn't like the car seat the father had. Okay, fair enough. Father's Day was coming. I should buy him a car seat. They're not that expensive. Be amicable. Work it out. Because an hour in court with a lawyer is going to cost you a lot more than a car seat. Do not go running to court. Court only has so much precious judicial time to hear which you should be able to work out if you've got any modicum of common sense and reasonableness. There's a solution. Don't use the courts as a sword. That's my humble advice. So there's a lot to figure out here. There's a lot to go through. Take your time. Be patient. Be patient with the other side. See if you can decide. I always tell my clients, take the situation, put everything on the table, and what can you agree on? And what you agree on, take off the table. Then what you can't agree on, go to arbitration, go to mediation, go to conciliation. Work it out. But don't fight. Because when all is said and done, it will affect you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in every which way. But more importantly, it's going to affect your children. And they may be small. I got small children I hear all the time. Attorney Seaver. Oh, great. They're small. But children may be small, but they're not stupid. They can pick up your vibes, your feelings, your emotions. My final piece of expression and hopefully wisdom is do not ever badmouth your ex. I know it's hard. I get it. But you're going to say it to the wrong person. And if your children hear it, you're going to poison them and dilute their world. Don't do that. It's not a win-win. It's a lose-lose. Do everything you can to do your divorce as amicably as possible for many different reasons. Financially, it costs more money. You're paying a lawyer to go to court. Don't do that. Put your kid through college, not your lawyer. But think through what you're doing. And I know it's hard. And you may have been done wrong with an affair or other things, financial, verbal abuse, whatever it may be. But do not fight with the other side. Settle out, settle your differences, and move on with your life. Because in the end, all the courts want to do is not be a referee, but rather get you divorced so you can go on and find your richly deserved happiness, a brighter future, so that you and your ex can live happily ever after. That's the goal. That should be your goal. One of my paralegal's mother said to her, and I love the wisdom, don't spit in the soup you ate yesterday. Till next time.